Okay, hello everyone. I'm here. I got my cigarette, which I'm now going to light, um, with matches, because I can't be just fucking asked to get up and get something else. So, listen to this ASMR, or get your ears blasted. I don't know how loud this is, and I don't have the energy to check. But yeah. Okay, that was pretty satisfying, if I do say so myself. But yeah, I got my cigarette. I got my canned ice fucking latte caramel. Okay, bougie. This costs more than my lunch as a student, which I think is amazing. Um, but yeah, I'm here. I'm ready to talk. I think this is gonna be the first video that I'm actually going to upload, hence the beautiful background. Up until now, I had this thing where when people would leave the house that I live in, the people that I live with would leave, that would kind of make me anxious, and so I wouldn't know what to do or what to do with my feelings. So a thing that would help me, at least, if not calm down a bit, at least like help me understand some things that I was feeling, was essentially this: just talking to the camera and forcing myself to sit down and kind of ramble about how and what I'm feeling. So, I'm actually just gonna light a candle, but you don't see anything, so why would you mind? You can't even smell it. But yeah, so I would do that and I would record it, and I kind of had a plan to upload it because I think uploading things like that is like for me, it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't change my life or impact my life in any like way, but also maybe somebody might stumble upon it and watch it and kind of find something useful out of it. Cause I don't know, I do think that people just don't really talk a lot very openly about their feelings. Like we talk a lot about mental health, but I feel like all of it kind of boils down to I have this illness and I have these symptoms, or like you need to set boundaries with toxic people, blah blah blah, which is really important, but a lot of it is like talking. It's like it's essentially like when you go to the doctor and in the waiting room they have like a flyer about like heart disease. It's like if you heave if you heave if you have these symptoms, do this, go to your doctor, seek therapy, or in this case, like, go to the doctor. And all of those are really smart, but I think that the problem that, like, the problem that we have with mental health is in a large way because people don't really talk to each other anymore. And I don't think there's a lot of people online or in real life who just talk about how they're feeling, why they think they're feeling that way, what in their life impacts their feelings, like how they deal with it, how they kind of try to think about it. And I think that's really lacking. Like, yeah, there's a lot of really, really good sources on the internet about mental health and about how to manage certain illnesses, and that's important, and it's important that we get that information from professionals and people that actually know what they're fucking talking about. But on the other hand, we aren't really talking about our feelings, and it's like people talk about mental health, and it's like it's okay to talk about mental health and about, and I think I do kind of dislike the label mental health, because it's like it's really like physical health. Like when people talk about health, usually when somebody tells me like let's talk about our health, what I have in mind is like talking about eating good food, taking care of yourself, fucking working out, I don't know, going to the doctor when you feel bad or when you think you might be sick, fucking, I don't know, doing things that are good for your health, like, I don't know, fucking eating honey. I don't know, I'm stupid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like an all encompassing thing. When I think of health, I don't, my first idea that I have in my head isn't like cancer, stroke, heart disease, Lyme disease, you know. But when somebody says mental health, automatically my mind goes to depression, anxiety, um, like fucking OCD, whatever. But I don't think it should be like that. And I think that the label mental health has been very much misconstrued by like, let's talk about an illness and how to deal with that illness, and let's try to destigmatize this illness, and that's incredibly important. I don't want to make it seem like that's not important, or that there's no place for that, or that just being able to talk about the symptoms of certain illnesses is wildly important. And like, yeah, definitely growing up, like for example, my parents or grandparents, especially generation, didn't have that. And like, even now, because I'm not from like a super cool, like, I don't know, very rich country that's very progressive, like, even now, like, when somebody has a mental illness, it's not really seen like an illness, it's seen like a personality quirk in a way, and it's kind of either excused or people are shunned for it. So yeah, it's important to talk about symptoms so that people can get the help that they need, and also so that they're not just like ostracized from society, right? Especially for something like that, which they can't control. But what is kind of a fact is that like, as much as we've improved in a sense of people that have mental disorders or illnesses, or that are just in general neurodivergent, I know that that's not a mental illness, but it's also a part of that whole mind aspect of a being, let's say. I don't know. You know what I mean. Like, although those people are getting more support and just acceptance from society, we as a society have kind of stopped talking about our feelings with our friends, with our family, and etc. Like, I feel like if I'm depressed, there's nobody that's really gonna understand me from my life. Like, yeah, I can go to my friend and be like, "Oh, I'm so depressed," but my friend is just gonna give me the standard, "Oh, well, you need to take care of yourself, it's okay, blah blah blah." Like, they're just gonna give me the infographic, but I don't feel like I can just sit down and have this moment where I'm just ranting about what I'm feeling and how draining it is, or how positive it actually might be, but how I'm stopped from doing it, or how actually everything's okay and maybe I'm scared of like change, and maybe I'm scared it's gonna be bad, and so many things that I believe could be valuable to like a person also dealing with things, or just in general a person living, just hearing different perspectives, but it kind of doesn't exist in my opinion, in my humble onion. So yeah, I mean, essentially that's kind of why I wanted to make this something that's visible online. It doesn't really change what it does for me. It's still gonna be useful for me to just get my feelings out and get my thinking out, and it's still gonna serve the purpose of, if it's found, it's gonna be found. I think a big part of this as well has also been like, I love watching Drew Monson, and Drew Monson, you might remember him as the Shane Dawson guy, but in recent years he's really like just crystallized into something very new and unique, and something that I appreciate so much. And he just talks and rambles, and it's very manic and anxious, and sometimes it's very depressive, and you can quite very much see that it's like a actual person talking. And I think that we are kind of like desensitized, and we're kind of like immediately when somebody talks about their personal life, or maybe not even their personal life, maybe like their intimate feelings, we kind of shun it as like parasocial relationship. But I don't know. I think it's like, I don't think it's really that much of a parasocial relationship. I think it's exactly what Drew, Mr. Monson, says it is, which is that he is giving kind of his perspective of what it is like to be a famous person and to grow up and be famous and then stop being famous, but also start kind of being famous. And this isn't a dig at Drew Monson. I'm like scared that like his spirit will like catch this video and he'll be offended by this. But like, I think it's so important that we have that just. And I know that like it might seem like too much, but it's at the end of the day, it's on you if you want to watch it or not. And I know that for me, it's been so impactful and so important. And I don't see like Drew Monson, like those videos, I don't see them as like him venting or something. I see them as like unironical works of art, and like a work of courage to just be able to express that so much. I feel like it's like him kind of talking about his experience for like the greater good in a way. Cause I don't know, I would just watch his videos sometimes, and I would really like gain a lot of perspective on like my life, like the same type of perspective that I would get from like reading a novel. Honestly, like, yeah, for like a novel, I really had to work, and I had to kind of think and try to understand and really put myself in the shoes of not just the characters in the novel, but also the author and the context in which the novel was made. My dog is barking, I'm sorry. And like, I would really have to think critically about everything that's happening in the story and what might have happened in the author's life, and also critically think about what's happening in my life and how I relate to that and how I read those, like what I think about that and what I construe that as. And that's infinitely valuable. I don't want people to think that I don't want people to read. I love reading, and I love getting that from books. But also, I do realize that I think humans kind of progressed into writing novels first from talking to their friends. So when I watch a Drew Monson video, it doesn't feel like I'm talking to a friend, but it definitely feels like the spirit of a novel, where it's like an artist that's trying to send you some kind of message or make you feel a certain way through his story. I feel that Drew Monson is kind of doing that subconsciously, whereas while talking about kind of what he experienced and telling you this story in this kind of very raw format of just him filming himself, filming every like thought and idea that comes to his head without editing, which is essentially what I'm doing now, is very inspiring, and it has that charm and it has that soul. Like, he's trying to give me a message. He's trying, every video has a message. It's in the fucking title, right? It's trying to send me something. And I think that in a way, it's a very like caricature of like we're in the 20 like we're in 2025, and like this is the way that people communicate. And this is like a novel to a person in the past. I know it may seem like pretentious as well that I'm saying this, but I don't really want people to read what I'm saying as pretentiousness, because I don't think that I'm smart or that I'm special because of this, or that even Drew Monson is special. I think that the reason why I really like this is because it kind of shows the human spirit in a way. It shows our need for connection, and I am a type of person that's like, I'm really positive, and I really love just good and wholesome stories that are pure. And when I experience something like that, when I experience like somebody sharing their feelings, or two parties getting mutual benefit and just being in this symbiosis, I get so much happiness from it. And I think that's so pure and so beautiful, how everybody has a place in this world, and everybody can do something good. And like every action, although in like a vacuum it may seem even negative sometimes, overall it can be like something that's actually a net positive and good, like depending on how you look at it. Like I think that's really beautiful, and it makes me really happy. It makes me really thankful to be alive in a way. Like I can almost like, I'm getting emotional just saying this. I'm kind of like getting like rosy eyed. I don't know. Like I'm not crying, but it's like I feel like there's a weight behind my eyes. I don't know. I just think that's really special. I think it is. And I've been kind of trying to embrace some of these like more natural and raw things. Can you tell that I've been reading Hermann Hesse? But yeah, I'm really trying to kind of do these things, and I hope that like after, if anybody sees this, I hope that like after a while you'll kind of be able to join me in this, because for example this, I've been kind of, well, I have been reading him and his day. I have read some of his works. I'm reading Steppenwolf right now, and he just has this constant theme of being okay with things and accepting them, and accepting all parts of yourself, and accepting the complexity and the naturalness of things, and to just let, just it's kind of like, at least how I understand it, it's just to let nature live through you, and to not kind of try so hard to discipline yourself for wanting to do things that are natural, and kind of living truthfully, and not caring about what others think, and what the social norms are, and what like human emotions like feeling guilty for things that are normal are. And I think that's really important, and I know like for me I think that's really important to just unlearn those things, because I mean, I don't know, it's like diabolical things. It's like, this is a really bad, like non deep example of this, but I think it's really, I feel like the reason, I think it serves a purpose, it being so stupid. And I was like, farting around people. Like, I'm sorry, but that's so normal, and why should you be ashamed to like fart in front of other people? And then people can be like, it's impolite, but like, who cares? Like, we all do it. We all know we do it. Like, yeah, I agree. It would be impolite to like shit in the middle of someone's room, like in the middle of someone's house. That's why you go to the bathroom. But farting doesn't really have the same impact, like just like hygienically. And then it's really stupid for me to be like, oh, it's impolite to fart in front of other people. Like, who says we made it impolite? And it's like a really bad example, but really stupid example. It's a good example, but stupid. But like, I do agree, and I think people should fart around other people, and I think that should be okay. And every time one of my friends like fucking pulls a like rips a fat fucking toot, I think it's hilarious, and I think it's, I really don't care. I think it's funny at the most, or I don't care. But like, for example, I would never catch myself farting like in front of anybody. Like, I would never catch myself ripping ass in front of anybody. And so like, it starts with farts. It fucking ends with humans not being able to talk about death comfortably. But you know what I mean. It's kind of like, it's kind of goofy. Is what I'm trying to say. Okay, I'm gonna finally take a sip of my latte caramel. Okay, but yeah, that was kind of my thoughts. I do have more thoughts. I do think that it would be more professional to write things down, but then again, I don't want this to become a chore or work, because the point of this is not that it's going to YouTube, so it has to be beautifully managed. The point of this should be that I'm just talking, and I'm I'm sort of simulating that. I don't want this to be very much unedited, and I don't really care like that nobody cares about me or that nobody might see this. I don't really care. Um, I'm just kind of posting it randomly. But yeah. So I'm sorry this is long or it's kind of chaotic. I think I enjoy that. I think that's a good thing. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry if you disagree. Which sounded mean, but it shouldn't have been mean. I didn't want it to be mean. But yeah. I think I'm gonna. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. If you wanna watch things like this, I guess click on my page and listen to the other things I have. But I think I'm gonna keep this video this. This was kind of an intro, kind of things I wanted to say, and why I'm doing this. And then in other videos I do have, I think I'm gonna film it right after this, because I've kind of made this preface because I feel like things need to have a preface for some reason. And I think that's because I like things to be organized, so like just putting myself in the shoes of a potential stumbler upon, I don't know, somebody who might stumble upon this video, I would like them to have the option to watch this and then see if they want to proceed or if they're interested, or like if somebody stumbles upon any other videos, I want them to have the ability to go check this video out and see what it's about, what I'm about, and what this is about, and kind of what and why. So, yeah, that's it, I guess, for now.